Setting the bar. I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. Thursday here on CNN is the first of two scheduled debates between Presidents Biden and Trump. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash will moderate. The debate will last 90 minutes with no live audience. There will be no opening statements. Answers will be 2 minutes. Rebuttals will be 1 minute. Closing statements will be 2 minutes. Based on a coin toss, Trump will go last. There will be 2 commercial breaks, and perhaps the biggest wrinkle, microphones will be muted when it's not someone's turn. The stakes are high. The race is tight, whether measured in national surveys or by battleground states. So the debate is a very big deal. And opinions as to who won will no longer be influenced by expectations. Advantage? Joe Biden. And here's why. Call it be careful what you wish for. In the last 2 weeks, President Biden traveled overseas to participate in a commemoration of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Then he came home. On June 10, he attended a Juneteenth concert on the White House lawn, and in a widely circulated video, he looked, well, stayed, standing amidst a crowd dancing to the music. That video was shown on a loop over at Fox News. Then he returned to Europe to participate in a meeting of G7 leaders. The result was another viral video. No doubt you've seen this footage of the president on June 13. And if you watch the version presented on a certain outlet, he looked lost, befuddled, and ultimately rescued by the Italian prime minister. It's not that the video was edited. It's all a matter of the camera angle that was shown. The Washington Post did a nice job in giving the full view. And seen from a wide lens, we see that the president's attention was captured by parachutists whom he seemed eager to engage and maybe congratulate on their landing. Then came last Saturday night at a star-studded Los Angeles fundraiser. This time, the first video that went viral, recorded by The Hollywood Reporter's Christopher Gardner, seemed to show President Obama rescuing a frozen President Biden. This, too, shown on a loop. And once again, then we got to see additional angles of what happened. They depicted the president standing still, basking in the glow of a supportive crowd, perhaps, until Obama signaled it was time to go. The video from the LA fundraiser has become an election Rorschach test. Republicans, they see frailty. Democrats, they see friendship. The White House accused opponents of playing cheap fakes video and promoting misinformation. Fox responded that they only played unedited videos and then took the opportunity to play them again and again and again.
Americans, holier than thou, so-called journalists that are really talk show hosts that are very liberal, reported that a string of very real, unedited videos showing your President Joe Biden struggling in public, calling them cheap fake videos. The media mob and Democrats, that's their new favorite word. Take a look.
Cheap fakes, videos of real events that are intentionally manipulated.
Karine Jean-Pierre and others are calling these cheap fakes. But what it is truly deceitful behavior.
What the White House is calling cheap fakes.
We're hearing about so-called cheap fakes. It's
Then came Tuesday. At another Juneteenth celebration, President Biden seemed to lose his train of thought and forget the name of his DHS secretary.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way. But all kidding aside, Secretary Mayorkas.
Here's the thing. The president's mental acuity, it is relevant. Yes, it is. I talk about it on my radio program. But the airing of these videos and the resulting conversation may have just done President Biden an enormous favor. Expectations are important to determine debate performance. Biden's opponents have now so lowered the bar for the incumbent that if he can just remain standing and deliver cogent sentences, viewers will think he had a pretty good night, and the burden will shift to Donald Trump. We've seen it before. Recall that in the run-up to President Biden's State of the Union address on March 7, there were suggestions from some that it was time for Biden to step aside and surrender the nomination due to his fading mental acuity. And those advocates were not normally Democratic detractors. The drumbeat started with David Ignatius in the Washington Post back in September. He said, I don't think Biden and Vice President Harris should run for re-election. It's painful to say that, given my admiration for much of what they've accomplished. But if he and Harris campaign together in 2024, I think Biden risks undoing his greatest achievement, which was stopping Trump. Biden's age isn't just a Fox News trope. It's been the subject of dinner table conversations across America this summer. Then James Carville said this to me here in February about Biden skipping the opportunity to do the traditional pre-Super Bowl interview.
It's the biggest television audience, not even close, and you get a chance to do a 20, 25-minute interview on that day, and you don't do it. That's a kind of sign that the staff or yourself doesn't have much confidence in you. There's no other way to read this. And he's not going to do debates. He is old. I know what it is because I'm almost as old as he is. And it's never going to get better. You never, today is the youngest you'll ever be for the rest of your life.
A few days later, Ezra Klein from the New York Times said similar things on his podcast.
I was stunned when his team passed on the Super Bowl interview. Biden's not up by 12 points. He can't coast to victory. He's losing. Whether it is true that Biden has it all under control, it is not true that he seems like he does. So yes, I think Biden, as painful as this is, should find his way to stepping down as a hero.
Soon after, Nate Silver was tweeting, quote, Biden needs to reassure the American public that he's capable of handling public appearances that aren't on easy mode, or he needs to stand down, or he's probably going to lose to Trump. In the accompanying article, Silver elaborated, it's become even clear that Biden's age is an enormous problem for him. As many as 86% of Americans say he's too old in one poll. The "this" was referring to Biden doing more lengthy interviews. But then, in the State of the Union, President Biden spoke forcefully, and he received positive reviews. The talk of him stepping aside quieted, at least for a while. And yet now, with these videos that Biden detractors show and discuss on a loop, the talk is back. Perhaps it's a case of be careful what you wish for, because all the talk has lowered Biden's debate bar so far that it won't take much for him to exceed it and be perceived as the winner, as happened with the State of the Union. And this may be why, after months of assailing Biden's mental abilities, even suggesting that Biden would need to take drugs to enhance his performance, Trump is suddenly shifting his tone. During an episode of the All In podcast hosted by Silicon Valley entrepreneurs released on Thursday, while continuing to attack him, Trump said this.
I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater. Yeah, I would say. I think okay. I don't want to underestimate him.
So, who's going to win on Thursday night? For all these reasons, Joe Biden begins in the lead.